All right, everybody. So I was trying to bring up my notes here. There's so much to try to remember, and 15 minutes isn't very long. But I can't bring up my notes on my phone at the same time as doing that. It's my laptop's not working. And by the way, if anybody's wondering why I haven't put out a podcast in a while, even though they've just been basically my videos all combined, but it's because my fucking laptop's all fucked up. But anyways, so I think I said it wrong in the beginning. I said autonomic and sympathetic, and that's the autonomic is the entire system, is your entire respiratory, is your entire nervous system, and the autonomic nervous system has two branches. Okay, basically two gears, I guess you would say. It's the autonomic nervous system consists of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So in the beginning, if I said autonomic and sympathetic, and I used autonomic as the bad one and sympathetic as the good one, even though neither one are bad or nor good, I think the sympathetic is overused and has been used against us, and the parasympathetic is the one we need to actively use on our own. But if I said, I think I was saying the autonomic was basically the one that you have the faster heart rate, and the sympathetic was the good one, and that's not true. So I got to correct that right now. So I'm very sorry. So the autonomic nervous system is your entire nervous system. Apparently, it's autonomic. It's automatic, and it generally, and it goes by what you see, how you feel, your heart rate, the things you take in, whatever the case is. But it's generally, your sympathetic is normally the one that's on, and parasympathetic is the one you want to act on. So I don't know if you want to use the parasympathetic as the positives. It both starts with a P, and then the negative. Once again, though, positive and negative. When it comes to ions, positive are the bad ones, negative ions are the good ones right now in our time anyways. But negativity is technically bad and positivity is technically good. So that's up to you. But parasympathetic, as in parasite, they kind of make it fucking sound shitty again, is the one you want to be in if you're not running from a fucking lion or people are coming to kill you or whatever the case is. Versus the sympathetic is the one you want to be in maybe if you're working out, to increase the amount of oxygen you're taking in. Although it is helpful to exhale carbon dioxide, and I'll get into that a little bit later, whenever you're working out. So that's going to take me a little more study, but I just recently found out that when you burn fat in your body, 80% of the fat that you're burning turns into CO2. 80% of it turns into CO2, or 85%, something like that, and the other 20 and 15% turns into H2O, water. So carbon dioxide and water is what it turns into. That's why you sweat and you pee, and that's why if you drink a lot of water, even if you're not working out, you can get rid of fat just like that. And people say it's water weight, you're retaining water. Yeah, but you're retaining water because you're burning your metabolism. Your metabolism is burning weight, you know what I mean? So that's why it's always important to drink a lot of water to get rid of anything you've burnt that's just hanging out in your body. But the other part of that is the CO2. So if you have an abundance of CO2 in you, it's going to come out, but you're going to be like backlogged. But anyways, I'm going to get into that later. And like I said, that's brand new information for me. I never understood that. And according to what I read, most doctors either know that and they don't tell people, and school teachers either know that and they don't tell people, or they don't know either. They just take them burning fat and it's energy, and that's not the case. It all breaks down into atoms, but there's always multiple ways of looking at something, right? So it is what it is. But anyway, so that's right now this video, I guess, is the overwhelming thing I want to state, at least in the beginning, is that my correction: parasympathetic and sympathetic. So parasympathetic is the deep breathing, as people will call it. Your lungs aren't up here. The doctor puts the stethoscope up here, tells you to take a deep breath. That's breathing through my nose. Well, at least inhaling through my nose, but that's no good. I ain't gonna do a fucking thing. It's better than doing a little breath through it'd be better to do that than through your mouth. But nonetheless, that's not what you want to do. You need a big, deep breath. And I'm not saying all day long you need to do this, but, be aware of it. But anyways, I'm trying to think about where I gotta go with this shit to make it in kind of a line in a nice row. So sympathetic is what you're in, and sympathetic is the one that focuses on taking in oxygen, because it needs to take in as much oxygen as it can so you could run the fuck away and go wherever you are, because you are technically in fight or flight. Now, like I said before, I think the human body can manage and deal with anything, even if you're unbalanced, if you're drinking alcohol, if you drink a lot of coffee, whatever the case is, it can deal with anything. So I think people start dealing and coping with the fact that they are in fight or flight almost all the time. It's just the way it is. How come you can be happy in one moment and all freaked out the next moment? Well, because maybe you just drank coffee. I've said it before. Coffee and cocaine both come from Colombia, and they both attack the nervous system. One at a greater level, one at a lesser level. But nonetheless, you drink coffee and your heart's going to get rushing. And that's probably good if you want to stay awake for a long drive, and especially stormy weather or whatever the case is. But not so good if you're trying to go to sleep at night. It's like, oh fuck, man, what the fuck? Your heart's rushing and you're thinking about all these things and you want to run out of your fucking bed and you don't even know why. Well, that's why. Likewise, the parasympathetic one would be good at that moment to go to sleep, because it starts your digestive system. It calms and relaxes you. It's the gateway to the other part of your brain and a whole bunch of good shit like that. But at the same time, if you're driving, you start activating that parasympathetic, and you might get sleepy. You might have to go to the bathroom and take a shit, and that's stuff you may not want to do whenever you are taking a long drive. So once again, I'm not going to sit here and say the parasympathetic is the greatest one and the sympathetic one is the shitty one. They both have their uses, but I do think the sympathetic is exploited and used against us. I believe it is used against us. I don't know if there's any elite groups out there, like I said already. If I haven't said it already, I'll say it again, or I'll say it for the first time. I don't think there's maybe a big group of fucking elites out there that are trying to do shit to us, but nonetheless, people believe that. Therefore, there are actions that some groups take that aren't in our favor. But nonetheless, the reason I'm going over this is because it's vitally important. If we can breathe right, then we have nothing to worry about with this shit. Now, if you're not taking in enough oxygen, if you don't get enough oxygen, which is a problem today, via either the mask people are wearing or just the fact that they're breathing. If you weren't breathing good before and you start wearing a fucking mask and start restricting your oxygen even more, you are going to put yourself in a whole lot of fucking problems. Man, TED Talks, fucking book Science of Breath, fucking medical books will tell you that. Like even from the doctor's standpoint. So you need to breathe right. You want to wear a mask out in public, then that's fine. That's your business. But you better make sure before and after, when you come home, you focus on fucking breathing for 10 to 20 fucking minutes. Deep breathing through your nose, out your fucking nose. And that's what starts the parasympathetic system. And then if I keep saying sympathetic instead of parasympathetic, I'm very sorry. I was under the assumption that it was autonomic and sympathetic, so that's why I'm a little fucked up. Autonomic is your entire, and then the parasympathetic and the sympathetic are the two that it toggles between. Now, these both are on all the time. It's like a little war between them. Who gets it? It's like this good and evil. It's this devil versus God, the angels and the demons. It's Palladians and the reptilians. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's that emotional brain and that fucking that reptilian brain, and then the fucking neocortex that gets to pick between them. But if you don't know this, and you're just breathing because, oh, I know how to breathe, I don't need to be taught. Well, yeah, you kind of do. So maybe this boils down to that. This is all speculation right now. What I just said, those last few sentences, that's just speculation. But nonetheless, there's something there, because these two things, something called heart variability, or I don't know, something to that effect. Anyways, and that's, you could say you have 1 beat per minute, which is an average and is true. But if your beats, you want a big variability, which means your heart rate isn't going as fast and it's not going as steady. When you have a steady heartbeat, 1 beat per minute, then That means it's your sympathetic system that's going all the time. If and at times you have to have your heart rate like that, but then at other times you're not supposed to have that. For some reason, rhythmic breathing takes you out of that, and it's kind of an oxymoron, I guess, because when you have a rhythm in your breath, it makes the rhythm within your heartbeats not so good. But it's not. Your heart is always going to have a rhythm, but when you're in the parasympathetic breathing, your heart rate decreases. You're doing less beats because you need less blood. Less breaths per minute is a good thing. More breaths per minute is a bad thing because you're not getting enough oxygen into your body for your cells, for your organs, for everything. And the reason you want a big, wide range of heart pumps. Sometimes you wake up, you have a cup of coffee, your heart's pumping fast, okay? And then later on through the day, your heart slows down. And then you have to go do a job, you gotta go to work, so your heart starts pumping fast, so you stay awake for your job. And then when you're done work, your heart rate goes down. That's what I mean. So it's not variability within the time that you're in parasympathetic or sympathetic. It's overall throughout the day. You wanna be toggling between both of these two types of the nervous systems throughout your day in a balanced way. You need to be able to use both. You want to train your body to use the parasympathetic when you need to, and you want to train your body to use the sympathetic when it needs to. You don't want your automatic default setting to be just the sympathetic nervous system going, because if that happens, you're going to have all types of disease, all types of issue. People have a lot of upper back problems, shoulder, neck pain. Why is that? I was told, I don't even know, maybe 7 years ago now, when I was at Ridgewood, when I started having back pain, the reason I started taking opiates, that I was always hunched over, my back was rounded, my rhomboids, this little round muscle below your shoulder blade, was always engaged. It was always being flexed, always, and that's where my pain was coming from, because I was constantly using those. And if I brought my shoulders back, I'd be able to, I'm not using them anymore. They're not engaged anymore. Therefore, they won't be sore because I'm not engaging them. I'm not using them. They're not holding my fucking body up, is what I was told by the chiropractors. And I don't think they're wrong necessarily. Not everything they said is probably right, but there's another factor to that. And it's the one that I'm going to share with you right now, that breathing helps your posture. Breathing helps your stance. Breathing gets rid of upper, lower, shoulder, back pain and shoulder pain, basically. Why is that? Well, when you're in the sympathetic breathing nervous system, it is engaging a bunch of muscles, primal muscles. Our shoulders are most, especially with men, we tend to use our arms and our shoulders more than our legs, which is why women make better mountain climbers, by the way, because they resort to their legs. And it's just because they don't think they have as much upper body strength. But when it comes to climbing a fucking mountain, well, us men can show off for the first 5 minutes, and then our fucking arms are shit. And if we haven't been good with our legs, then the woman's gonna kill us in that fucking mountain climb. So you have to have a nice balance there. But back to the story, or the situation, we engage our shoulders, our traps, all these muscles up here to help take in oxygen when we're in the sympathetic, because we're running from a lion. The blood goes to your arms and your feet. Remember I said that, the arms and your legs? Well, when it's in your arms, it's going all the way up here, and it's forcing these muscles to take in a breath. You're engaging your muscles. You don't need to do that when you breathe. You don't need to do that at all. You want a 360 degree expansion around your stomach. Apparently your kidneys can even move a couple centimeters, I don't forget which way, for the diaphragm to be able to. Your diaphragm is there just to help you breathe. Now you can also use it to sing. When you sing from your diaphragm, I believe it's better than singing from your throat. But once again, that's one of those things. If you're singing from your throat, or sympathetic. Singing from your diaphragm, parasympathetic. But so back to my problem, my shoulder problems, I think it has a lot to do with that. The girl told me I was way overdeveloped up here, and other places not developed at all. And I always thought I was working out wrong, but it turned out I was breathing wrong, because now that I breathe right, but anyways, now that I breathe correctly, I stand more straight, and I don't have back pain now. Obviously opiates and then on Suboxone and shit like that, but still, it does help your posture. And there's a lot of people that are slunched over, and what is their excuse for that? Just bad posture, sitting down? I don't think so. I think it has more to do with breathing. You breathe 23,000 times a fucking day? If you're doing that wrong, you're fucking shit up.